At the start of this season, we would have expected to see one of these teams in the #1 spot in North America. It's not the team that is #1 in North America, because that's enemy right now. They would not estimate that. LG are fighting to try and climb the standings.
Still sitting at 10-6, though. They have a winning record. They're in a pretty good spot there at 4th right now. So it seems with Scary D on their squad, they've solved a lot of the issues they were having with Snoopy, who is still moving over to this role. And this is going to be a really big set, right? I've been talking about how all the sets are important, but it is, right? All the sets in North America, especially when you're looking at the top 5 teams, are so critical because of how close the teams are, not only in the standings, but also in their skill.
And this could potentially see a new team as #1 in North America. If enemy drop both these sets, that allows Saw to sneak above them in the standings, especially because of the same tied on wins, but different on losses.
Here's 2 things. First of all, Luminosity have been very successful in this with speed buff, right? And that meta, they've been very dominant. We saw that last year as well. Now they obviously 2 new members on the roster, one of them being TheBoosh, the other Scary D, but still, andinster is a very hard carry player, known as the best player in North America. Historically, I would say, right? Maybe not so much playing at that level right now, but historically, he's always been the best one in NA, in the jungle specifically. And now he's going back to the speed buff meta, and I think we could really see him shine in this set.
And you've also got enemy, who, let's be honest, they were the best to adapt to Season 3. They adapted to the map very quickly with new roster members as well. However, how good are those new roster members with the speed buff back and the map looking a little bit similar to last season?
A lot of pressure on Varizial because most of the other lanes there, they've really changed too much. Jungle is the main thing that's changed, a little bit of mid and a little bit of solo as well. But this matchup, Varizial versus andinster, right? andinster will make the highlight plays and Varizial will make the setups to allow his team to have the highlight plays.
Well, we should stop wasting your time and get into picks and bans, because at the moment, this game is going to, for me, come all down to Thor, I guess. And Varizial gets it. It's been one of his go-tos. andinster, Thor the whole time as well.
Potentially Merc picks. We've been kind of, Merc is going to be back. The only reason I think we're not going to see him immediately if we don't is because teams haven't really scrimmed or practiced with him in a long time.
But what's the build on him? I mean, Bloodforge, I guess, as well as full crit. So
Pecky's has a really good build. I don't know if I want to spoil it. It's Production Boy, right? Fatalis, right? Into crit, Wind Demon plus Rage, so good. Bloodforge as well, Titan's Bane. I think there's another item in there.
We'll see how that works out for them as well. Let's go into picks and bans then for game 2. Sorry, game 1, I should say, between LG and enemy.
BaRRaCCuDDa left untouched in the middle of 4, finds the stun. He's going to be focusing Mast in the back line. There goes Stealth, and there goes Mast as well. Triple kill coming up from BaRRaCCuDDa, and Luminosity are looking good to close out game 2. Trying to find the last hit. That's the 3rd kill in a row for andinster. And this is Luminosity. You can't count them out at any stage in the game. Looking for a 3rd, but BaRRaCCuDDa might be able to turn this. And a double kill for the BaRRaCCuDDa.
Here we go. Enemy versus Luminosity. Enemy will be first pick, first ban in this game. And the question is, will they ban Thor, or will they look to take it for themselves?
Thor will be picked up in the first 3 picks, right? Whether enemy first picks it or Luminosity responds. If not, it's going to be banned out. I don't see any other way. LG have shown, right, if Thor is open, give it to andinster. And right now, in the jungle meta, he is going to shine if he gets this god.
Well, LG still respecting Khaos' Zeus. Will they respect Khaos' Janus as well, which a lot of teams discovered for the first time last week?
Yeah, he didn't. I don't recall if he played it last season, maybe 1 or 2 games, but not. It couldn't have been that much. That wasn't really in his god pool. This season as well, that was the first time, and we saw him 3 games in a row dominate with it. I love seeing mid laners extend their god pool out a little bit more. Also opens up enemy to have, more strategies in their back pocket.
Well, I'll tell you what, Luminosity respecting the Thor more than the Janus here. Will enemy look for that pick? Khepri on the table, however, as is Athena for PainDeViande.
If we're looking, no. Okay, so I mean, Khaos showed to his team that if it's open, we're going to go Janus. Khepri's still available, although we didn't even see Khepri in the first set, Allegiance versus Eager. Neither team wanting to pick it up or ban it away, so maybe falling down a little bit in some pro players' minds.
Well, JeffHindla, do you really see him as a Khepri sort of player, or do you want to see him on something more aggressive?
I mean, he loves Sobek. He's so good at Sobek. Bacchus as well. We've seen a lot of success coming out of those 2 gods specifically. But, I mean, if Khepri's open, still very strong. Luminosity going to be grabbing Xbalanque here first.
Hey, we saw it last game as well. We'll see what they can make with it. Darkest of Nights does disrupt a lot of things, as well as allow the Hunters a little bit more range to their kit and put people in awkward positions.
It's so funny, right? We don't see Xbalanque for the first 4 weeks of the Pro League. All of a sudden, Zap brings it out, and now every single team is starting to incorporate it back in.
So we're seeing Enemy probably get pigeonholed into picking Capri here for PainDeViande, unless he wants to maybe look at Odin, which is another one go-to here. Athena, Xbalanque both have issues against that god, but we've not seen him for a little while.
And Darkest of Nights actually makes it very hard for any support to kind of deal with, and the Athena very good at picking off other supports. That's one thing that Athena's very good at, is like dash taunting, closing the gap immediately, and then setting up and allowing your team to kind of just like pick players off on rotations, and they can't really do anything about it because supports usually aren't going Purification. I think ShadowQ is the only one who will go it almost every single time.
Well, PandaCat going to go back to Artemis once more. He loves this god, one of the first ones to play in the Pro League this year, and even through the Challenger Cup last year, he was one of the only ones that really pulled this one out. He's not scared to continue it.
Naja going to be locked in for Luminosity here. So andinster already has his jungler, which means he could potentially look to lock away a couple of Varizial's favorite picks. Obviously, his Thor is gone, which has been his most popular, but he also has a pretty deep god pool. It's spread out very wide into most of the other gods he's played have just been like played once, and I think he's got like 8 or 9 different junglers so far.
Now, Anatoly as well, he mentioned like how important mobility as well as escape is important in the jungle for this season. And seeing andinster go to Naja says that he's very confident in not getting himself out of position here, but he's still going to have the mobility on that god.
Enemy going to be banning away some mid laners from BaRRaCCuDDa, so no Ryzen, no Vulcan either.
Vulcan's smart just to deal with the Naja ultimate into the Vulcan ultimate, which is very easy to confirm there. Potential things we could see. Do you reckon we'll see the rise of Agni again, potentially?
I definitely think there's a chance, because the biggest problem is that you can't dash the wave, or you couldn't dash the wave at the start of Season 3 because junglers were in your lane
that quick.
The second, and then you're just, it was too high risk of dying. It's still low pressure if you're looking at picking up an Agni, but it's definitely possible. I think we'll start to see splashes of him more and more, and both these mid laners have been known for it, right?
Once again, Varizial.
Okay.
Gonna go with the Arachne this time round. He enjoyed it last time, and he's gone back to it.
And enemy here looking for their last pick, likely to be a soul laner. I expect PainDeViande on that Guan Yu. If it's picked up, it's historically gone over to him instead of Marauder in the solo lane. Could look at Osiris here as well if he wants to match up against this Robin. We've seen a little bit of Wukong as well from Marauder. And it's going to be the Wukong.
Will be the Wukong once again for Marauder. He's had an okay time of things, and the whole enemy roster has. But how will they transition with the speed buff coming back? Luminosity looking for their last pick, their mid laner. I expect it's a mid laner they're looking for this lineup they've drafted. But the question is, which mage will it be? And it's going to be really far back, really deep into the old days of Kukulkan.
This is actually one of his most famous gods before Season 0, right? Before he, joined Cog Red and was very dominant. This is one of his mainstays, and it'll be interesting to see how LG are going to incorporate it. They do have an immense amount of setup for Spirit of the Nine Winds.
A lot. Taunts are there as well. You've got the taunt pickup. You've also got Darkest of Night, so you can't dodge it, as well as the Naja ultimate. Can Luminosity take a chunk out of enemy, or will enemy continue to reign the top of North America?
Oh, but PandaCat with rotation. Desert's Fury on point.
Yo, PandaCat is on fire right now.
Purification forced by Homiefe. Homiefe tried to make it work, but Chaos definitely making it work. Morrowind takes a spill. 4 kills in total for enemy. Here
Actually
comes
going
enemy.
to end.
They're going to skip the Phoenix. The surprise win from enemy. Luminosity had no idea.
And that surprise win there was the last time these two teams faced off the first week of the Pro League. I'm pretty sure it was actually our opening game to Season 3 when enemy shocked the world, thought to be a bottom tier North American squad going up against Luminosity, who many thought was going to be #1 in the standings and run North America.
And now look at them, both of them, 2 different rosters from the last season, but Marauder's going to get cut out of position. The tornado should be enough damage. It's BaRRaCCuDDa with the poison that gets the first kill of the game. And you know what? That's one person you don't want to give an early kill to.
5 bonus power now because of Xbalanque's passive. Very critical. And now BaRRaCCuDDa is going to have even more control of this lane, right? Throwing Dagger has 25 power on it. Now he has 30. And this is going to be very rough. And this thing, right? Dying that early in the game actually isn't that bad because there's 5 members typically grouped up, and it's the 500 gold bounty, but it's spread out. So no single player gets a lead, but having that kill go to Xbalanque and stacking his passive before minions have spawned.
Small power spike means you get a little bit more dominance in that lane. Going up against PainDeViande and PandaCat. That's going to be important too, because take into account, Xbalanque's early game isn't that strong. Artemis, however, with crits and throwing dagger, with the Athena in tow, sorry, with the Guan Yu in tow, it's going to be a rough lane for them early on for Luminosity, so that's going to help them out a lot at the beginning of this game.
We're online with Varizial. He'll going to be starting off at a speed buff as Luminosity take control of the mid-camp timers. They locked down the first one, and they're actually going to wait on their speed buff. So Luminosity doing a little bit of a different start here.
So we're going to see mid into blue. Speed available. Meanwhile, left-hand side, no one actually took those left-hand harpies at all. Both the mid laners and the support duo lane did the same start we've seen so far this season.
And the strength, honestly, of Kukulkan Tornadoes in conjunction with the Soulstone. Well, clearing the way very early.
Because he is on that Kukulkan as well, with, like I said, the Soulstone, what he's done is that he's been able to free farm in mid on his own here. We saw Nijar go to the duo lane, so solo lane, soak a wave of experience, give the imps over as well to ScaryD, and then rotate mid, and he's still not got his speed buff yet.
You can see already andinster level 3, so a slight XP lead coming out for Luminosity.
Still available.
And they're going straight to it. This is just a very efficient jungle start coming up from Luminosity. Obviously, the speed timer is going to be a little bit off, but this is actually a win. This tells me that andinster wants to invade the opponent's speed because he knows when Varizial took his, and he knows that he doesn't have to risk his getting picked up in return immediately after or during.
And when you know that speed buff's available is when your blue buff is available on that side of the map as well,
yes.
So you'll keep the timer easily to be able to keep track of when it's due to come up. Nice poke coming out from PandaCat. Very low on mana he is right now, so needs to pop some of those mana potions at the moment as you see Pain getting taunted a little bit there. Just once again, Luminosity trying to weather the storm in this lane that they're going to be aggressed on constantly.
And this is just Guan Yu dominating a lane in conjunction with, not necessarily Artemis, but against the Xbalanque, who has the low clear. Obviously, he was helped by the throwing dagger, but the problem is JeffHindla can't really group up the minions like a Guan Yu can to allow the splash damage to hit both the melee and the archers.
Can we look at experience very quickly? I know it's only 2 minutes in the game, but I think experience is very interesting to see. The graphs as well as the per minute. Look at that. Both BaRRaCCuDDa and andinster were top there for a few seconds. Now they're going to see a catch-up where they get a lead, but still Andy is the most experience gaining person in this team so far.
Forget experience. The man just backed at 2 minutes and has already finished Boots 3. That's such a huge lead to have this early on in the game. Has speed buff as well. He wants to fight and invade that speed buff.
Well, Varizial going to get pressure with the ultimate there as well as he was looking for poke damage, and there's the tornado and the damage coming out from the ultimate as well.
Oh, look,
BaRRaCCuDDa finds one rotation from ScaryD, looking for another. The portal will save the day.
The solo laners rotate to the mid lane, but ScaryD, not enough damage to finish off Khaos, an enemy. Starting to falter here in game 1. Luminosity coming up with the first 2 kills in the match, and that's the wombo combo you expect, right? The Naja ultimate into the big Mage Burst ultimate. Nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do at all. When you land, you're guaranteed death if BaRRaCCuDDa can be on the money. And I tell you something, Spirit of the Nine Winds and BaRRaCCuDDa go hand in hand most of the time. He knows the timing of that ultimate.
You know, funny enough, actually, Kukulkan received a buff recently. It was a fix, right, where TheBoosh wasn't counting the power he got from his passive, which converts mana into magical power. So now, once TheBoosh is online, Kukulkans have even more magical power than they did before.
It's a little bit more of a power. It's not too much of a hammer, but it's about 20 to 30 power. It's not massive, but it's something. It's something for
30, 40 power.
It was a bug fix, Dennis. It was a bug fix.
No, it was a buff.
It was always supposed to have, but it is a buff in disguise as a bug fix. As now Varizial, after taking that tumble, is trying to continue farming up. At the moment, he's roughly about 200 gold down.
Right hand side, blue buff attempted to be stolen away. Doesn't look like ScaryD was successful. He noticed the rotations coming, and Varizial gonna try and pick him off.
He ults in place, though, I believe, there, which I don't think was the right call. He had Andy in support, but quickly burned down by this spider monkey.
That was ScaryD not understanding the damage output of
Can we just call these
Arachne.
Can we just call these two spider monkey together?
Spider monkey?
That's what they are. It's a spider and a monkey.
The spider monkey combo, and now blue buff has already been secured there. ScaryD should be able to pick it up. He does have teleports down, but he'll be back in time. 30 seconds
on the ground. He's got plenty of time to do that. But it was him going aggressive in the jungle and didn't respect how much burst he could get out of Marauder and Varizial combining with the double CC they have.
And ScaryD, they're going to falter early, and so far, this game still Luminosity in the lead. They were able to pick up first blood early on and another kill after that, but no team has a massive advantage, I would say.
I just realized what went wrong with ScaryD this game. I mean, he made a good rotation to mid lane, but he put his boots and his starter item backwards.
He messed up. He put starter item in the second slot.
You can't do
that. It's over.
You can't do that.
The game's actually over. It's like the first auto. It's done. You can't.
It's rough now,
Come
but
on,
anyway, enemy going to group up on this side of the map near the fire jet looking for
Oh,
the
look at
imps.
this, they're baiting.
4 members for the imps. And you actually see Varizial drop the web. Unfortunately, didn't connect with who he was looking at, which was Andy.
He tried to catch andinster there in the slow and get the little baby spiders on him. Unfortunately, though, andinster a little bit too fast. He got his ring toss off as well as having the speed buff, which means he's just zooming around. Has boots 3 as well. Going to be very hard to lock him down anytime soon.
I'll tell you something as well. We can stop the talk about Golden Bow being complete and being rubbish, because so far I've seen every single hunter has completed Golden Bow for the extra power we've given it.
It's 55 power as well as the passive still. And the passive, you know, not super critical or outside of the laning phase, but just 55 power, right? Think about that. Think of all the items with like 50 power. Deathbringer, although it's 40 now. Malice has a massive amount as well. And these are all, you know, very late game items costing, you know, 500-600 more than Golden Bow.
And mobility. Mobility also factors in. It's only a small amount, but it does
8%.
add up. And in the jungle, though, PainDeViande, a bit of an awkward position. Cavalry charges into a tornado. There is the spirit. Oh, he's not going to connect, though.
Oh, he
But
went
the
to the
ultimate
portal.
Andy will as he goes for the portal. He's dead when he lands, for sure. PainDeViande
Brutal.
dies to the portal.
Absolutely brutal. Khaos walks right into the Spirit of the 9 Winds, and then PainDeViande, unfortunately not aware that Khaos had ulted out there, walks straight through into the tornado, and andinster immediately follows up.
And while that's going on, ScaryD looks for the invade on blue buff, forces Marauder back, and now they're going to go straight for the Gold Fury. Only PandaCat is here, but immediately Sash comes out from PandaCat. Luminosity get the Gold Furies. PandaCat is against the whole army, surrounded, and ScaryD gets credit. LG off to a flyingly good start.
Really surprised that PandaCat just didn't give that up right. Very unlikely that he steals it. In addition, he tries and chases JeffHindla to get the kill, but he's guaranteed to die in that situation if he goes aggressive. And instead of giving it up, he's going to die once again, which gives BaRRaCCuDDa even more farm in his lane. Already a 700 gold difference in the hunters.
If you're an LG fan right now, your grin is starting to spread on your
yeah.
face just a little bit here, because enemy, well, they've been top for a while now, and they've come up against this game. They're really starting to struggle, it seems, and finding anything. A little bit of misplay here and there has just not worked out.
And enemy, to be fair, right, their most success, they get behind a lot, right? This is, them getting behind in a game is not a surprise. We've seen them win games where they're not only down in gold, but down like 15 kills.
But that was more last season, right?
No, that was this season as well. Very early on.
I guess.
They've had like 3 or 4 comebacks like that. It's been incredible from them, and they're very good at grouping up and team fighting. And it really seems like LG are abusing these smaller fights to take advantages.
Well, Marauder going for the cheeky steal away, but ScaryD well aware of what was going on. 1-1-1 for ScaryD, even though he put his start around in the wrong place. Marauder still
okay?
with an
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I'm good.
Okay, we'll get you a therapist.
Marauder, though, he's still doing a good time the same. Going to put some poke out, and Jingle Bang easily clears the wave off now with those Warrior Tabby completed.
ScaryD going to throw out poke as well. Very unlikely we ever see a kill here. Left-hand side, Varizial right on top of a ward. I love what BaRRaCCuDDa does there. He doesn't immediately show that he knows the ward's there. He's just trying to waste time.
Sash does connect from andinster, but immediately you saw Marauder with the ult at the right time to get away from the danger there. No pressure available from enemy, though, on the left-hand side of the map. They were looking, like you said, for BaRRaCCuDDa, but they're not going to find anything.
And now, grouping here by PainDeViande, trying to force out JeffHindla in the BaRRaCCuDDa. Caught in the mid lane, but andinster's rotating as well, and doesn't look like he's going to force anything just yet. andinster, though, working on Jotuns. 8 minutes in, almost has it completed, whereas we haven't seen Varizial back too often.
And to be fair, LG don't have to force anything right now.
No.
They're just going to sit back, they farm up, continue doing their jungle, wait for the next Gold Fury, because they've taken the early game by storm, taken an early Gold Fury, couple of picks in the jungle, and now it's enemy that are like, okay, we just need to farm.
And that's something we didn't talk about either. Spirit of the 9 Winds, not only is it very good for the Wombo combo with andinster and the BaRRaCCuDDa setting up a basically guaranteed kill as long as they time it perfectly, but also Spirit of the 9 Winds, very good at securing Gold Fury. One of the best objective secures in the game outside of Isis Ultimate.
Waver's got through space and time, which can be fired, but it's a much more difficult to connect.
It's not
She's
as
so
easy.
far away from the engagement. andinster now over this side, going to pick up some farm. PandaCat wasn't going to be coming out of from his tower anytime soon there. PandaCat looking towards potentially Assy here as his next item. Meanwhile, you can see BaRRaCCuDDa went for the Ninja Tabby for the extra attack speed from his boots.
And that's just because he gets power from his passive, as well as having extra damage on the bolas once those are activated. And actually, he's not even looking at the Assy, so feels like he's going to be safe. Looks like he's heading straight into Xbalanque. So telling me BaRRaCCuDDa is really looking to all-in box and not take any free poke. And honestly, that's BaRRaCCuDDa's playstyle. Is he doesn't really fight you unless he knows he can win.
Well, right Harpies are up sooner than left Harpies here in the mid lane, so just keep an eye on that. You see a wall placed down by PainDeViande. He's in position to make sure he can contest those with that ward he's put down. But because LG get a little bit of pressure from those minions and nobody in position, it's LG first at those Harpies.
Oh, rotation coming in from Marauder, though. LG could get a little caught off guard. JeffHindla sees it. Charges his dash. And it looks like he wants to fight.
Well. Yeah, they're going to hit Varizial, who goes into the tornado. Forced to ult is Varizial away from the danger. ScariD looking towards PainDeViande a little bit here now as well. PainDeViande going to charge away back to safety. Even the Hunters turn up from the duo lane to join.
If ScariD had connected that route, did he just steal the speed with an overhead kick?
Yeah, he did.
That's brutal, man. That's brutal.
I think that was Varizial. I think that was a root, actually.
Oh, okay. I thought it was. I just we went over and I thought it was the overhead kick. Not enough though. And honestly, PainDeViande level 9 needs to be careful because he can get wombo comboed as well. You can see he's immediately building in a physical defense, but that means BaRRaCCuDDa is going to hit very hard if he connects.
You can see how quickly both teams are happy to rotate around this map and try to support each other around the mid lane, with speed buff now being down for Varizial. Just loses a little bit more experience as andinster now going to go back to take his any moment. Blue buff is available. You can already see he's going to be over there to help out ScariD with that.
So far this game, the tornadoes from BaRRaCCuDDa have been very good. He's not always looking to hit someone in the middle and make sure to get off max damage. A lot of times it's just to split these teams up. Even there at those mid camps, he places it right in between Varizial and PainDeViande, which means PainDeViande is forced to kind of sit in the mid camps and Varizial and Khaos kind of have to back off. So if a fight breaks out, it's unlikely that enemy, are going to be the ones that are able to that can find the opportunities to force it.
It's a penetration build as well coming out from this Kukulkan by BaRRaCCuDDa. Bodies don't go in here. Legion Helm as well as Shoes of the Medjay. It's all about pen for early aggression and damage, not for the power spike of maybe Doom Orb, maybe Book of Toth.
I do expect Book next, though.
That's normal for Kukulkan just because of the way the passive works.
It's the perfect item for him. Perfect item for him. PainDeViande here going to smell out Luminosity, doing the red buff, but it doesn't look like he wants to do anything. Just trying to get vision. He's going to be able to make it back to this lane as well. But he's going to run into BaRRaCCuDDa, and PainDeViande's trying to force stuff, but I don't think he recognizes the rest of LG.
Salt, he loses half his health, his heal's now on cooldown. andinster blinks in and actually ults onto PandaCat. 3 crits in a row, and now we're going to see PandaCat trouble forced to bore. Athena ult comes out as well. They're looking for the pick on Panda. BaRRaCCuDDa gets credit for that one as BaRRaCCuDDa makes a rotation, takes a lot of poke, but the boys of the solo lane are hit too.
Marauder trying to do everything he can, but the rest can't get in. Varizial blinks over the Gold Fury wall, trying to isolate andinster, who has no ult, but andinster is able to walk away successfully, and that was simply a 5 versus 2. ScariD TP's over to the fight, helping guarantee that Luminosity win it. An enemy, not much they could do. And that was PainDeViande trying to just poke out BaRRaCCuDDa. He didn't recognize that andinster was closely behind him.
Andy went back to base, hit level 12, got blink, comes straight back with his blink, looks for the play. Varizial himself did the same thing, just didn't find the web that could have been the big turning point and found the kill in response. Gold Fury, though, was not taken by LG there. They're not
playing it safe.
Such a good, confident position where they can do it just yet.
And I think that's fine, right? If you don't feel like you can guarantee Gold Furies, we've seen so many stolen Gold Furies, right, from just random abilities. And maybe ScariD not confident in being able to successfully peel away a couple of these guys.
BaRRaCCuDDa is hanging around. He knows these Harpies are spawning. He's got his ultimate available, so just look out for the cheeky ult over the wall, or maybe he'll just spit it in the face,
Did he steal those?
I'm not sure.
He's jumping around.
Yeah,
I think BaRRaCCuDDa stole those. Just because he's jumping around, I bet you he stole them.
I should have kept an eye on his experience bar there just to be sure of that one. But take into account as well, that spit, that Zephyr does a lot more damage than it used to.
The scaling got increased, correct? So
just makes
swinging away, has pin, and he's actually building, it looks like, is that Divine Rune
I
or
think that'd be Polynomicon. Polynomicon will work out pretty well for him. Spit into auto attack is very simple to connect. And then you also land Tornado into another auto attack which can connect. So yeah, there is a chance of that if that works out.
Luminosity currently about 2,000 in the lead, just a little bit under. You can see enemy haven't really been able to get anything rolling. It hasn't been anything crazy, right? It's just been individual picks from Luminosity, not any massive team fights. And enemy have kind of been down in numbers every time these team fights start,
in the
right?
grand scheme of things, though, enemy still keeping even experience is a big talking point here. That they managed to survive the storm of going down 4 kills in differential, but still being even on form. The gold, the only difference there is that Gold Fury.
The big thing I'm looking at right now is BaRRaCCuDDa, though. He has a 700 gold lead over PandaCat, also 2 stacks on his passive, which means not only is he further into his build, but he also has 10 bonus power for free that PandaCat actually can't match.
Well, Gold Fury started up once again. PainDeViande will be the first one here with Guan Yu on that cavalry charge. He's going to get looked at straight away. Taunt off the mark from JeffHindla through space and time, however, does connect with Boost, dropping him to half health. A meditation comes out and they focus down PainDeViande, find it. Spirit of the Nine Winds fired, but we will see Boost traded out eventually. This fight is good for enemy.
You can see actually a portal going to connect on his SPL very low. Mystic rushes away, but he's going to get chased out as Marauder locks him down. An enemy so far 2 for 1, a win for them, and PainDeViande, the sacrificial lamb, as always, goes in, finds the stun onto 3, allowing Khaos to connect the ult snipe onto BaRRaCCuDDa.
And now Khaos zoning with Marauder, allowing the enemy boys to bring down the Gold Fury with Varizial and PandaCat. That's a freebie. Gold Fury to enemy. That was the best fight of the game so far from enemy.
That was really well played, and this is what enemy is successful at, right? When there's big fights, when it's 5v5 or 4v4s, that's what they're best at, is coordinating everything together. Varizial, though, going very deep in Khaos over the wall with the unstable vortex.
Varizial, not as deep as you thought there. He was relying on his teammate in Khaos, following them up with the damage through the wall. If that would have missed, it could have been a different, awkward situation for him. But Purification now allows him to steal away the speed buff from andinster too. This should even things up, if not put enemy ahead in this game.
You know, it's so funny seeing Khaos on Janus, as he's going to take a little bit of poke. He'll be fine, though. It's because Khaos, for me, has the best positioning of any mid laner in the world. You know, I think Best is up there with him as well, looking at North America specifically. And Janus is that god where you want to go deep and actually bait yourself a lot of times because you have so many options to get in and out, and it's about safety. But now that he's on here, I don't see Khaos, like, almost ever dying unless he kind of just gets one shot or wombo comboed.
We'll talk about his lane opponent as well, BaRRaCCuDDa. He didn't go for the Polynomicon. I will never talk about builds from a mid laner again.
I thought it was Divine Ruin.
It was Divine Ruin, I guess, just to deal with the healing coming out from PainDeViande more than anything. And it will affect Marauder.
No, I think this is the perfect item, you know, for BaRRaCCuDDa. It's a little bit surprising, though, because he's gone 3 items that don't really have a lot of base power. They're all kind of useful in their own scenarios, excluding between Dynasty Plate, Helm, and Divine Ruin. But there's 2 meditations on the side of enemy, as well as the Guan Yu heals, and heals coming out of Varizial as well.
That's true. And Varizial got heals, Marauder got heals. There's multiple opportunities for him. You can see that in the player damage, actually, from BaRRaCCuDDa here. He's not at the top of the shop right now, where you'd like to see a mage at this stage, especially being involved in as many of the kills as he has been, all 6 of them. But BaRRaCCuDDa's just doing what he needs to, as SPL, bit of an awkward position, now has to ult away. But they get a win out of that to enemy, so they just retreat, accepting what they got.
That's fine. Rotation coming in from LG. You can see the pings coming out from someone, and they're going to quickly go as their speed buff was stolen away in the meantime.
I think that's what SPL did, was steal it away and get away to save. So good little play from him. Ult for a speed buff, I'll take it every time.
Hey, man, you're just denying Varizial. And you can actually see Varizial was able to steal away andinsters there, so he's fine for now. And that's just continuously denying enemy everything they can.
I've been trying to watch as many games as possible with the new patch coming out. You can see the solo laners and the hunters. Hunters a little bit more are getting a bit more farm to themselves these days. They're getting to that late game a little bit quicker. Level 17 for both of these. 17 minutes in, it's a level a minute, which was a little bit more delayed than that last season, last meta.
A little bit surprising, but I think it's more because supports are roaming out of their lanes much earlier and never coming back. Before this patch, it was kind of supports were sticking around every once in a while, sharing a little bit more farm.
They were like a hobo on the street, weren't they? They were like hobos. They were like, hey guys, you got any more of those minions?
Got any farm?
Got any more of those minions?
I have watchers. I don't even need the last hit. You can last hit.
Please, just let me share. Let me share the experience. And now they're not even there at all. So as we see, you can both see both of them.
And PainDeViande with 1,000 gold lead over JeffHindla. A lot of that probably because of those Traveler shoes. You know, he's going to get a little bit extra gold when he's able to successfully connect damage onto enemy gods.
And you charge through.
And that's what we saw. This actually makes more sense to me going back to when PainDeViande was trying to block BaRRaCCuDDa coming in the lane. That was just him trying to get extra gold.
Jeff looked for the taunt, but immediately charged by PainDeViande away from the danger zone. Spit off the mark from BaRRaCCuDDa as well.
Double.
Fast feet with Threshold too.
Threshold's so good. Marauder here trying to box out SPL under his own tower. Varizial has the follow-up. SPL has no mana.
Oh, no, the meditation bait brings him into the tower range, and actually Marauder takes a lot more punishment than he would have liked to. The Varizial's blink for the meditate worked out well, and now Speed buff being contested by Pain here.
He doesn't want to give this up for free. You could see Varizial's here as well. There goes Darkest
ult.
of Nights, and this honestly might just be Luminosity trying to force enemy off of the Gold Fury, or excuse me, off of the speed buff, not necessarily to engage.
It's funny because I saw that ult come out from BaRRaCCuDDa thinking it was a team call, but he might have been for himself because he was traded with PandaCat there as Andy does get the ultimate off here. One in the sky, Tornado already on the ground. Deletion of Varizial before he can get away from the danger. Now they're looking for boost through space and time gets fired, but doesn't hit any real targets that we're looking for. SPL forced to retreat as Marauder is maybe looking at Jeff, who's very, very tanky.
Luminosity here, gonna back up. They were able to successfully find their pick. No need to force anything else. PandaCat has rotated to the mid lane though. Enemies grouping up, and here comes SPL teleporting to the tower, trying to help defend it, but he walks right into damage from Khaos.
Around this side though is andinster and BaRRaCCuDDa, and Jeff's taunt is going to set him up for a big ring toss bounce. Andy then going to sash in as well, but gets bursted, allowing SPL though to pick up Khaos. PandaCat and Marauder doing good work to chip away at the Luminosity front line, and it will mean BaRRaCCuDDa falls.
Overall, a very big fight coming out of Luminosity once again. They're able to successfully kill Khaos there, but enemy still playing as a unit. This is where they excel at.
We expected this game to be close. We expected it to be really close, but at the start, the way LG started this one,
I thought
it was done.
But I
For
mean,
a second.
that's the thing, right? Enemy has never been the best at the smaller early game fights, right? 2v2s, 3v3s, they don't really excel. Sometimes they'll find some kills or some, but like once you get into 15-minute mark, once enemy starts grouping as a 5-man unit, it's PainDeViande. It's General Pain. His calls are always on point, and we heard Khaos on that interview just the other day, right? When Pain makes a call, no one debates it. We all follow up. Even if it's the wrong call, they will go in, and more often than not, it's always the right one.
And if it's the wrong call, at least you're going to be, potentially still making something out of it as well. SPL meeting Marauder. Varizial with the blink again, looking for SPL once more. SPL does not have his ultimate this time. Overhead kick up by him a second. Varizial going to close the gap with the ultimate though, and a very good stun should spend the end of the solo laner.
Gold Fury though has respawned. You can see Luminosity immediately puts their eyes on it. However, just based on the position, you actually saw PandaCat and PainDeViande. They weren't in the Gold Fury range. They're actually just a little bit below it.
Well, it's going to be them that start it up. Enemy happy to do this one, knowing they've got the man advantage with SPL being down for 38 seconds. Marauder swings to mid lane, keeping the pressure there. And instead, though, enemy going to reset things because they realize they're not comfortable against the Kukulkan.
Enemies still have about a 2,500 gold lead. They don't want to risk this Gold Fury just yet. And yeah, Kukulkan, right? It's just so good with the tornadoes allowing spacing specifically, right? It's not even a, right? BaRRaCCuDDa doesn't even need to do damage. He just needs to force enemy to split up.
Well, they're trying to force it now. SPL still dead for another 10 seconds, but there's andinster with the engaged. Gold Fury is still being tagged by spiders, though, as the crits are coming raining down from PandaCat, who's finding a lot of them as well. Gold Fury goes the way of enemy, and this fight should be washed from LG as enemy retreat happy with the result.
Beautiful presence of mind by Khaos there in the fight. Recognizing that the Gold Fury got reset a couple times, goes straight to him. All of Luminosity are now on full retreat, which means he's safe to hold it. Hits the unstable vortex, guaranteeing the Gold Fury, and now a 4,000 lead for his team.
PandaCat, though, landing a lot of crits.
Yes.
Did you notice that? Those crits just kept raining out of that build.
Has Wind Demon online, and that's... Did he have Wind Demon
No,
completed?
he just bought that now.
Did he full buy it?
I'm not sure if he full buy, but I don't think he had full Wind Demon.
Right, like Artemis passive is very powerful, right? 15% crit chance when you have all 3 stacks up, but to get that many crits is pretty crazy. Varizial in a little bit of trouble, but he's going to ult away.
Yes.
Traditionally, Arachne, one of the hardest junglers to lock down.
Well, she can get into a fight, deal some damage, and get out again just before she gets away from the...
Heal up as well.
However, Whirlwind can cause a few issues for him, which is what you'll keep an eye on TheBoosh trying to do for his team here. Talking a little bit more, though, about PandaCat at the moment. That Wind Demon fully completed. Combine that with the passive and the steroid that she's got built in, which gives her movement speed and attack speed anyway. That's going to be a problematic late-game hunter.
And right, I'm not exactly sure on the exact numbers of crit. A lot of times players like to go Rage first because it's mathematically better, but because Artemis has built-in crit, historically it's been Deathbringer's better. And that might be the same thing for Wind Demon here, where she's more than likely to crit, which means she gets that passive and holds it so much more often.
Attack speed and movement speed.
The 20%.
So important for
especially for Artemis, right?
Yeah.
Having that movement speed is critical.
For chasing or chasing or disengaging as well. well that will be helpful for both. Varizial, camping left-hand side here, has Blink available. We've seen him quite happy to try and engage with it.
I don't think we've talked about this already, but Blink online for PandaCat as well. We're seeing a lot of these Artemis players really prefer this Blink. PandaCat hasn't used it yet, as typically he's been the one getting engaged on by andinster, but something to take note of here, and Luminosity needs to be aware of if an Artemis just blinks over the wall and
Blink
ults.
4, Blink 4.
I mean, that's the combo.
Well, BaRRaCCuDDa being chased down by the spiders here, allowing Varizial to continue chase, which forces Jeff to ult, and Barra immediately turns attention back, forces ult in response here.
You see how much damage that auto hit for Varizial? That was massive, right? And if Jeff was able to close the gap there and find the taunt, Varizial might have fallen, immediately ults in response, knowing the damage potential of BaRRaCCuDDa.
And look at the levels, level 20 for BaRRaCCuDDa already, alongside the solo laners of just those level 20 right now. The mid jungle supports, they're the ones
Everyone,
behind.
experience is pretty even. I don't expect anyone to have a massive lead by the end of the game. Red buff invade is called by Luminosity. You can see the pings come out, but it's already been, oh no, it's already dropped, and actually enemy are waiting for Khaos to come pick it up.
I guess taunt on the left-hand side goes out, but PandaCat was there with the ball, then a trap. Now Jeff's got aggro as well. PandaCat puts so much damage on, and now he's got a rotation from his team. It's through space and time, hit BaRRaCCuDDa. They're both running for their lives, and General Pain is here to claim a life.
There goes Tallow Assault. JeffHindla able to dash out just in time, but it looks like it will be a disengage from Luminosity. Ooh. Beautiful response by enemy, and they want to pressure more. You can see them grouping up for this tower. Varizial on the right-hand side just trying to stop ScaryD in the meantime, and this should be a tier 1 tower. Nothing BaRRaCCuDDa can really do, even though he has ult. And there it falls.
I don't know how we saw LG manage
ScaryD
to
TP'd under.
Anything, but TP under from ScaryD, going to swing around the back, looking for PandaCat, who is out of everything right now. Good use of the
PandaCat's destroying the stun!
Oh my goodness me. Artemis is back.
Oh my word. Can we take a look at player damage right now? I do expect him to be pretty high up there. 15,000 damage, very close to 16,000. The next closest is the solo laner, ScaryD, who, you know, doing a lot of poke damage in lane. And this is raw, just team fighting prowess coming out of Artemis.
And now he's just basically going to siege up with his team, allow his team to go in first of all. I'm surprised LG got out of that danger zone as quickly as they did, but they still lost ScaryD, which is a 4v5 under a tier 2. No minions here. PainDeViande tanking this up as Marauder is harassing BaRRaCCuDDa at the backside. Tanky enough for now. Marauder is trouble. He does have his ultimate still available and going to use it. There's Andy off the mark with his ult.
PainDeViande just trying to peel, and andinster actually quickly turns his attention over to Khaos. The snipe comes through, hitting 3 members. Marauder finishes off andinster, and now Varizial and the rest of enemy. It looks like they're just backing up, trying to reset. 2 already dead for Luminosity, though. They can't hold this, and staying around means death.
PandaCat watches the tier 2 tower, goes, the blinks in, gets the ball connects BaRRa down. Next up is Jeff, into a trap he goes, double kill for PandaCat. And with that, they can limp back to the goal through if they want, or they can still look for this Phoenix.
They're going. Enemy's going all the way, 26 minutes in. They're looking for the Phoenix. PainDeViande just bullying ScaryD in the back line right now, and it's going to fall here, only a matter of time. Enemy, they finally take control of the kill lead. They take out 2 towers on the left-hand side. Gold 3 is about to spawn. Let's go to the graphs and see where it's at right now. An even game just 6 minutes ago. Now 9,000 in the lead is enemy.
You know what the worst thing about this game is right now?
What's the worst thing about this
game?
game?
Every game is going to have a Blink Artemis in it.
I don't even want to play
Blink
Smite tonight.
Artemis everywhere.
Like it. But that's the thing, it works for enemy, right? Because not only is Wind Demon going to allow Artemis to get in and out of fights better because of the movement speed, because she's basically guaranteed crit at this point, right? 15 on her passive, 20 on Wind Demon, building into another crit item, which is going to be 20% as well. It's happening all the time. She's permanently going to have 20% movement speed in these fights. But also, PainDeViande able to heal her up, not only with meditation, but the heals as well. And then Khaos has portals, also has threshold.
2.5 attack speed you can see on that Artemis as well. Once everything procs, she pops the steroid as well as the Wind Demon proccing, constantly at 2.5% for the most part until a crit hits, but she's not critting for a while there.
And I expect, honestly, Golden Bow to stay in this build, right? It's 55 power. She doesn't need any more attack speed. Also, the 8% movement speed.
Okay, do you reckon you may see it drop for Bloodforge, though? Like,
possibly. Right, power. Okay, yeah, I could see that. But it basically depends if PandaCat feels like he's going to value the double lifesteal and a little bit bonus power for the movement speed, right? How critical is that 8% movement?
But he's getting the kills too, right? So the passive of the Bloodforge comes into play as well then, which gives him a shield, which also gives him mobility which makes it.
All right, sell it for Blood Forge. Sell
Yeah,
it for Blood
we'll
Forge.
see. Fire Giant started up by enemy. Now they're confident enough to go into this, but LG are here. Jeff on the
Spirit
front
of the Nine
side
Winds
with
is online.
Scary D into Varizial. Already popped Purification there as Andy gets a
Oh, he
very
caught
good
him.
shot with the crit and the ultimate off. They're looking for the pick on PandaCat, who is their arch enemy, and PandaCat has fallen. Raid boss is down, and maybe LG can win this fight.
General Pain in a little bit of trouble, does find the stun. There comes Spirit of the Nine Winds, though. Pain trying to make it through the portal, but body blocks are good, and Marauder able to successfully back out, but 2 quick kills for LG, maybe a third.
Blink from
BaRRaCCuDDa going
Varizial.
deep, but it's a bait!
Sanctuary, though, absorbs a lot of the damage. Dunking as well from JeffHindla. They realize BaRRaCCuDDa was in an awkward spot. They do get some good abilities out of enemy, but there's still 3
Enemy aren't
members
giving this
here
up.
trying to
Enemy
defend.
do not want to give this up for free. It's been started by Luminosity. Spirit of the Nine Winds is down, so no secured Gold Fury right now.
Varizial
Chaos,
on the back.
Varizial,
He's looking at
Marauder,
BaRRaCCuDDa.
they're
Varizial's
trying
looking
to
at
flank.
BaRRaCCuDDa. They're going to get the Jaguar off, though. The Spider's still chasing, but Varizial gets so low. He has to Fire Giant stays standing, which is so important. It's still being pulled, though, by BaRRaCCuDDa, who is tanking it with
Bear's gonna have it.
BaRRaCCuDDa.
No!
Enemy! Oh, he gets it with the Jingu Bang! Marauder, the hero they needed as Chaos falls to Andy in the jungle.
Enemy, who had full control of this game. Luminosity immediately responds with 2 picks at the Fire Giant. It's theirs, uncontested for free. Marauder, though, around the corner, secures it, keeping Enemy in control of this game for now. Mid-tier 1 going to go down the way of Luminosity, but this game back and forth right now. Enemy still in the lead by about 7,000, but
Let's just go back to the Fire Giant as a
9,000,
whole
excuse me.
there. PandaCat gets killed early. The enemy are not in position to try and look after that Fire Giant at all. They pull it. Nobody's really peeling for them. Andy walks straight in with Jeff and goes, "Oh, hi, PandaCat. Goodbye, PandaCat." And then the fight that ensues afterwards actually goes LG's favor. But then they make a mistake and allow enemy the chance back in this game.
I think they thought Marauder backed, right? You could see no ward vision right there for Luminosity, and I don't think there was one when the Fire Giant was happening either. Speed buff, though, trying to be stolen away by PandaCat. He should be able to secure this,
Does
and
PandaCat even need that?
it's going to go the way.
Does he even
Look at
need
how
that?
fast he is. 556 movement speed right now, and is that... Okay, 518. That was Wind Demon passive, but still a very fast Artemis.
I am in the need. The need for speed, attack speed, and power is the answer from every hunter. And, well, that's what PandaCat's got right now. He's going to be able to siege onto a tier 2 team is with him. There is a boosh on defense, but it's going to take a couple of ticks for those tornadoes to clear out that minion wave. And as you can see, tier 2 tower falls, leaving just 1 remaining on the map for Luminosity.
You can see left-hand side, the Phoenix has respawned as BaRRaCCuDDa has been split pushing. He's going to back, though. No more fire minions for him to deal with, but enemy, they're trying to force a fight while BaRRaCCuDDa is across the map, but it's actually PainDeViande caught out for a little bit. Should be fine, has the portal to go through,
We'll use
off
it.
to safety.
And while that happens, enemy take away the last tier 2 tower, re-engage from
Jeff
Jeff,
wants
though.
this.
Maybe looking for a taunt. Poison connects from BaRRaCCuDDa onto Varizial, but no panic comes out from enemy. The call to disengage is there, and so they'll head back and spend up some of this hard-earned gold.
You can see build's about to be finished. I'm really surprised. Can we actually highlight over the BaRRaCCuDDa right now? We're 31 minutes in, and he only has 374 magical power. Most of his items are all very utility and not, I would say, this core magical burst that you
tend to
typically
agree.
see from a mage, right? He's got the Dynasty Plate Helm, which is very good, you know, just for the pin and protections. Doesn't want to get picked off by Varizial early on, but then he goes into the Vine Ruin. Also a very good utility item. Not a lot of strong magical power base. Then he goes into Obsidian Shard once again, right? It's not the Book of Thoughts, it's not the Soul Reavers, it's more for the penetration. And then Chronos Pendant, right? He doesn't have a lot here where typically mages are looking at 600 magical power.
And he's basically utility, but he's the only magical on his team as well, which is the other thing to say here. Because
Jeff's not doing any damage.
Jeff's not going to do anything at this stage of the game, so you're relying a lot on potentially big ults. And at this stage, where enemy now have the opportunity to look for the win and get these Phoenixes, you want that Spirit of the Nine Winds to delete people.
And you have stuff to set it up, right? JeffHindla on the taunt. Andinster just needs to hit an ult, and we've seen him connect these off of Andinster's ultimates, but they actually haven't been killing people, right? They've been doing like 40 to 50% of their life.
Well, let's see what happens with enemy now. They're hanging around this left-hand side. They've got wall coverage in this area where Khaos is stood right now. And Khaos, well, his Janus this game, it wasn't the carry of carries that we've seen coming out of him enemy before when we saw Khaos get every single kill. But he's been important for actually using his utility to the team's advantage.
And you can see 680 magical power online for him. His unstable vortexes are doing a lot of damage. General Pain there
Here
in the
we
front,
go.
and there's andinster, but he whiffs.
And now the ball is out, and the ball's going to go ping-a-ling-a-ding-dong onto the whole team of Luminosity. The disengage's gone through space and time, off the mark from Khaos, but he just sat at the back and waited. An enemy.
Once again there, you saw actually BaRRaCCuDDa hit Spirit of the Nine Winds onto 2 players. It does about half the life of PandaCat, actually about 60%. PainDeViande tickles him, and now because of the heals, their enemy are just going to be able to heal up. BaRRaCCuDDa doesn't have the damage to make that a useful ultimate.
This is a weakened Phoenix too, and with that engaged from LG off the cards now, they're really looking at JeffHindla, the only one that could really force things, but enemy give this up and are going to go for the goal. This is a win for LG.
There's no ultimates online right now for enemy. They don't want to risk, diving into the Phoenix. Their Fire Giant has fallen off. It's going to be spawning in 40 seconds. Why risk losing a fight there and then giving LG a free Fire Giant and chance to push and kind of close that gap and finish off their items?
And this is the respect that enemy have, though, because I feel they could have forced that one. They could have found it, but PandaCat is such an integral part of this composition now in the way they're building. He had to use Purification. He had to use his balls in that engagement. So if he gets attacked in the next one, he will fall and potentially allow, well, this man could step up.
And this, PandaCat, you can see 2,100 gold in hand, so he's not going to go for the Bloodforged. He's keeping the 55 power, and more importantly, he's keeping the 8% movement speed on Golden Bow. Things just making sure he can move. He's doing enough damage in his eyes.
And the AoE, the split damage.
It's a little bit. It's not a ton, but it's good.
But if you're critting every single time as well, you're going to be critting onto multiple people, potentially extra damage coming out. Fire Giant start again this time. Can enemy do it clean? Because last time they gave LG an opportunity into it. Well, you said it's free, and it is.
I like this decision from Luminosity here. They know that it's very unlikely that they can get in without having a fight forced on them. So instead they want to risk, but Khaos going real hard.
Straight through the mid lane. Luckily he doesn't hit anybody. After Mark is Bresley Insolent there. As round the side comes Scaredy with Jeff now. And you can see Khaos forced to purify in Sanctuary there. Meanwhile, BaRRaCCuDDa gets chipped to low health on the right hand side. Phoenix in middle still stands. PandaCat tanking up the Phoenix with no minions. BaRRaCCuDDa takes out Varizial now. The enemy composition is a little bit split, and this is messy at the moment as one member's down. Taunt from Jeff off the mark. Phoenix still stands in mid lane, but for how long?
Pain's going in, looking to find a stun onto multiple members. He does get it off onto 3, and here's Marauder. It's going to be good as he heals up his team, and
PandaCat is dead inside the tornado. Taunt from Jeff was good enough, and there's PainDeViande trying to create zone against BaRRaCCuDDa, but ScaryD deletes Khaos now as well. This was a misplay from enemy, and Luminosity have done a very good defense. They've managed to hold. Only a Phoenix lost, but look at the respawn timers.
Honestly, I mean, Luminosity are going to charge down this mid lane. They're guaranteed at least a tower. They could look to get some Phoenixes as well. I don't think they have the ability to end. Actually, maybe they do. BaRRaCCuDDa has Spirit of the Nine Winds.
I don't know.
I know LG, and I think LG want to finish this game.
Marauder, full health and ultimate available, so they're going to fight 2 monkeys first of all. Then the Spider Monkey will be back when Varizial comes online with his ultimate too. Going to be a little bit longer till PandaCat's the next up. This is a Phoenix for me and a tier 2.
Looks like they're going to play it safe for now. Too many players spawning in under 20 seconds. Khaos, 20 seconds exactly. PandaCat in 15.
They can look left for a tier 1 and tier 2 if they want to, or go right for the tier 2. I'd probably look for the tier 1 and tier 2
I think they're going to check jungle
left.
as well, maybe. Strip that away
Speed
from
and
enemy.
red is available, you're right, but at the moment they're going straight back home.
So LG just going to play it safe for now. They've managed to hold on. Despite enemy having the momentum and control in this game, it's actually Luminosity who has more of the kills. That definitely was a mistake for enemy there, diving onto that Phoenix. Really? I like the idea, right? You threw space in time your team, you catch LG off guard, they're not expecting it, but the problem is their players got split. ScaryD does a great job of immediately isolating out PandaCat and Khaos, right? They can't dive the backline with the rest of their squad, and even though they don't die there at the start, it's just the fact that Varizial and Marauder are so deep by themselves that Luminosity are able to just group up and target those players down.
I wasn't sure where Marauder ended up in that engagement. I have to watch it back, but I know
he was backline with BaRRaCCuDDa. He was right there next to Varizial.
Right, and that's through space and time again. This one might be on the mark though. Doesn't actually find a connection, but it does bring the team into range for Pain to run them down with the cavalry charge. Changes his mind, however, as the ult comes out from JeffHindla there in response.
And Varizial just going to steal away the speed buff from andinster. Actually very critical. Not a lot of people, I don't know if people value it as much. Speed buff late game, very powerful. You get the bonus movement speed, and it's just about, you're able to dive the backline easier. as well as stay alive more
They gave
often.
both of them actually over to Varizial there. No one for PandaCat this time around. Varizial wait to refresh his. He's going to head back to base here as well. I guess he may be looking to finish them, but in the jungle, we're going to fight going on here. PandaCat forced to purification
and he's
again
dead.
and Boars.
The heal.
But the BaRRaCCuDDa is getting a good tornado damage off there for the time being. Marauder's going straight to the back though, going to hit onto andinster and find that kill. BaRRaCCuDDa, however, takes out the mage that is Khaos as Marauder's trying to get away, going to get hit by the tornado, so he's in a bit of trouble here.
And LG, once again, successfully able to find a pick. They do lose andinster in response, but they just continue to hold in these situations. It's a lot of it coming down to BaRRaCCuDDa, who's getting off a ton of damage, and he's typically the one we're seeing kill someone in the back line. You can see 6-2 and 6 now, has all stacks of his passive, giving him 30 bonus power. Varizial and PandaCat here, they have a sentry, 2 sentries to the right,
hunters.
so they know they're trying to bait here. And you can see, even BaRRaCCuDDa, 26,000 damage, only 2,000 under PandaCat at this time.
PandaCat versus BaRRaCCuDDa is going to be the whole thing of this game now, with how close they are together in terms of itemization as well as player damage in this one. Just keep an eye on those two for all these fights now, because whichever one falls first, I believe the game is done.
And here's the thing, though, is that PainDeViande, 16,000 healing right now to his name. Conviction and meditation have been so critical so far in these fights. Instances where it looks like PandaCat's about to fall, he managed to live through. Same thing with Marauder, Varizial, and PainDeViande. This Guan Yu is playing such a critical role right now in enemies' composition. And the fact that BaRRaCCuDDa doesn't have kind of that massive power base that you would expect, it's very hard for him to 100-0 players. But he just finished a Hootie.
Well, there's a critical moment also about to happen in the mid lane here. Middle Phoenix for LG is about to respawn, as you see on your screen. Meanwhile, it's a little bit longer for enemies, so there's going to be a power play in the mid lane from those minions as well, which will start filtering down mid lane from LG. Enemy need to keep an eye on that, or they may lose a free Phoenix if they take a fight. Talking about taking a fight, enemy going in, looking for BaRRaCCuDDa. A lot of aggression onto him. Tornado already down, Spirit of the Nine wins too. Does connect, but it's not a lot of damage. And BaRRaCCuDDa swinging in and out, trying to survive. Varizial gets the kill, but the taunt was good from Jeff to follow up. Enemy, Khaos and PandaCat on the back here are in a zone with the ball now down. They're waiting for the landing, and it's going to...
Varizial barely lives, and now Khaos trying to throw some damage over the wall there, but once again, it's going to be a pick, and just a beautiful execution. You can see enemies' wards very deep. They knew that BaRRaCCuDDa was sitting there alone, that no one else on Luminosity was going to be around to peel him. They all in him, and even though a couple of them get very low, PainDeViande, once again, Conviction, going to be able to heal everyone up. This is going to be an uncontested Fire Giant once again. An enemy still down in kills, but they've had the momentum all game.
Very surprised to see them go to the right-hand side here as well. When you look at it, they've already taken the left Phoenix once. They've taken the middle Phoenix once. Those two are weak in Phoenix, and they're like, you know what? This, for now, with BaRRaCCuDDa still being dead, let's go for the right one, the healthier one of the three.
Maybe, and I like that. BaRRaCCuDDa going to be spawning 15 seconds here. PainDeViande a little bit low on mana, but has his meditation up. Shell as well, and here comes Pain.
Pain going in on the front line, just creating a zone, forcing ScaryD back. Jeff now gets to the front, gets a taunt off for PandaCat. Purification, and Jeff's already lost half his health.
Oh, the body
I should
blocks.
say all his health with Varizial dunks in. Didn't even need the through space and time, and now they can look for the weakened Phoenixes.
Varizial going to be taking this one up, but does get hit by Zephyr here. He purifies, making sure he's not slowed, but then immediately gets hit by a slow again. And he's actually going to be boxing ScaryD as ScaryD jumps to the back line. BaRRaCCuDDa doing a lot of damage to PainDeViande. Spirit of the Nine wins. Going to be off the mark as andinster ults as well, but still Varizial falls.
We'll make sure of his death. If Andy did not secure it, they'll hold the left-hand Phoenix for now. One member of enemy dead. This is staining up once again with the Guan Yu, played by PainDeViande, as four members now group up against the two.
This
but
could be
Andy and Scary around the side here. Darkest Nights from BaRRaCCuDDa's pot, but BaRRaCCuDDa is annihilated by PandaCat again. Third Phoenix falls. It looks like enemy are going to continue winning ways and stay at the top of the North American SPL.
4 members alive right now. andinster in the back line, though, just trying to isolate anyone he can. Has no ult, does a lot of damage to Khaos, but it's only ScaryD versus 4. PainDeViande going to be able to heal his team up. There's no Phoenixes left, and ScaryD and Luminosity are going to fall in this first game. Enemy tie the kills finally here, and just such a great showing from them. They're so good at team fighting.
17-17 was the kills there. 17, so even on kills, but objectively much better.
Destroyed. And Luminosity, they're doing a great job of finding the kills, but it never seemed like when they were able to find kills, they were able to capitalize and, you know, find towers, because they were always on the back foot, right? It's like, yeah, they wiped a couple members, but there's still a couple members of enemy alive, so they couldn't risk grouping up and trying to force a tower. They were so far away, and it was just a great job by enemy overall.
Now, patch 3.8 is what we're on right now,
Yes.
and the biggest thing to mention here is we had a lot of focus onto the jungle changes that have come out, which affects jungle, mid laner, and solo laner with the respectively, but it was an Artemis that came out of nowhere due to item changes in 3.8 that may be the biggest talking point.
To be fair, PandaCat's played this god, I think, 2 other times. This is a god he was comfortable in before this patch. He's really the only one running it consistently, and it's just the fact that enemy plays such good team play. Like, they're able to keep the Artemis alive in a lot of situations where typically she would get dove, and then, you know, every once in a while, she, you know, PandaCat just blinks to the back line and gets a double kill.
And goes off. Well, let's find out.